Happy Monday, besties. It's me, Jamie Delphine. Welcome back to News for People That Have a Job. I'm coming to you live from Los Angeles this Monday, where the world, in fact, did not take the weekend off. Before we get into what's generally a stacked news day yet again, we have to do the thing. How's everybody doing? How's it going? What's up, crazy dad? First in chat. What's new? What's new? We got Not Real Jules. BDC with a stream streak. Let's go. Oh, 6 months on a 4-month streak. Oh my God. Thank you. I love the support. I really appreciate it. Y'all have no idea what this means to me right now. It is rough out here right now. I am just struggling to even get an interview in Los Angeles. I can apparently get them all over the country, but trying to find something in Los Angeles, oh man, bit of a struggle. So, we got to do the thing. Y'all know the thing. I'm gonna do the ceremony, and then when I'm done, everybody says, "All praise the node." Here it goes. May our bitrate remain stable. May our frames never drop. May the cold, unfeeling data centers that govern our digital reach look upon us with favor. And may our thumbnails be clicked. May our titles be searched. And may the engagement metrics flow like a river to the sea. Chat, repeat after me. All praise the node. And so it shall be. Now, grab your emotional support beverage, grab your energy beverage, and your hydration beverage. Here's what happened while you were trying to have a weekend. Spoiler, they did not take the weekend off. All right, let's get into it. Congress is about to send Trump the biggest bill for housing in 30 years. Let me say that again. Congress is about to send Trump the biggest housing bill in 30 years. I want to be excited. I really, really want to be excited. I can feel the optimism from folks that aren't as cynical as me. Let me show you, let me explain to you exactly why I'm not. So, this is real. Congress has passed a bipartisan housing package, and it's headed to Trump's desk. The pitch is to strip out federal regulations that drive up the cost of building homes. And before you roll your eyes thinking this is just another deregulation giveaway, I want you to actually listen, because their own data says regulatory costs count for about 26.4% of costs. So the price of a new single family home would go down significantly if they could find a way to reduce the cost of regulation. So if you knock that down, homes get cheaper to build. That's the pitch. That's what they're selling. Here's where I need everyone to put on their class analysis glasses, because deregulating the construction side of housing without touching the investment side is like unclogging a pipe that empties into a swimming pool owned by a hedge fund. Yes, more water is flowing. No, you are still not getting in the pool. So there is nothing in this bill about corporate investors buying up residential properties. So nothing about real estate investment trusts holding land off the market to inflate values. That's those giant companies that just bought up property, especially coming out of the pandemic. And they're keeping it from regular people like you and me. Nothing about the people who bought 60% of all of the available lots in Altadena while the rubble was still warm. And that happened. That's a real thing that happened in our city. I've talked to organizers that literally are responding to those things. And the bill does not know those things happened. We are making it cheaper and easier to build homes that will then be purchased by someone with a portfolio. So your rent does not automatically go down because there's a cheaper permit to build the luxury unit across the street from you. So that's not me saying do nothing. Something is better than nothing. I am saying this is a first step that is being sold as a destination. And those are two very different things. And Congress wants credit for fixing housing. But your landlord just smiled. So let me know what you think in the comments. Chat, is this a good thing? Do we need to see it through? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Because the housing supply is genuinely a problem. And regulatory costs, they're genuinely high. Like, the data is real. I can say that from here in Los Angeles. We're cutting local legislation involving taxing incentives that is going to reduce drastically the amount of funding if those things go through, if those measures go through. I shouldn't say they're a done deal. I'm saying it like they're a done deal, but they're not. I mean, I got to be clear, and I've gone head to head with many people that I've worked with directly that, we should agree on things, but supply alone does not fix affordability when the demand is being juiced by institutional investors. So no investor caps, no speculation tax, no land value tax, none of the structural tools that would actually connect supply increases to renter outcomes. There's no legislation federally to support land trust initiatives. So, and honestly, the Altadena lot buying story, we talked to Matthew View. We had a news, it was people with jobs making a difference interview. It was number 2. If nobody caught it, that VOD is up. You can check it on my YouTube. So, if nobody else is gonna jump in on this one, this is honestly something you could talk to your Trump neighbor about. I mean, this is something that, like, yeah, they're just going to deregulate and make it cheaper for builders to just build more stuff that doesn't help anybody. And even anybody working class can talk to them about this, and you should be able to connect. If you don't think you can talk to Trump voters, every Friday, join me on the Clock Out, where last one was like 4 hours. I'm still trying to figure out how to turn it into a podcast. It was too long. And it's because I found a liberal that didn't believe in reparations. But by the end, he admitted that was something that could work. And it's something that probably owed. And it was a liberal that came in saying, this is too long ago. There's no way we can do this. All right, so deregulation, usually all about removing safety precautions that exist. A lot of it is also taxes. A lot of deregulation is just feeling like the government is worthless and we shouldn't fund the government, while also sabotaging the government and pointing at it and saying, see, it doesn't work. And that's the playbook, and we need to be aware of it. All right, we're going to move on. So this one genuinely excites me because 12 ordinary working people sat in a jury box in Birmingham, England this week. The prosecution had a confession, surveillance footage, physical evidence. They said it was open and shut, and the jury took 17 hours and said hard pass. Here's the story. 4 Palestine Action activists were on trial at Birmingham Crown Court for criminal damage at Moog Aerospace Factory in Wolverhampton. Moog makes components for weapon systems, and those weapon systems have been used in Gaza. The activists admitted they shut down the production line. They occupied the roof. They stopped the facility. The prosecution said, and I cannot stress this enough, they admitted it. Open and shut. Or it should have been. Technically, the jury deadlocked for more than 17 hours and they could not convict. And this is not the first time. Because in February 2026, 6 activists were found not guilty of aggravated burglary in an Elbit Systems plant in Bristol. And Elbit's one of Israel's largest defense contractors. And these activists spent 14 to 18 months in pretrial detention. And then the Crown Prosecution Service said it could not proceed on the most serious charges against the remaining 24 defendants and dropped it entirely. So here's what we're watching. The state, the British Crown, mind you, brings the maximum charge. And the state has a confession. 2 juries, same industry, same type of case. Same result. The jury said no. That is not a legal technicality. That is called jury nullification. And that is 12 people looking at each other after 17 hours and saying, I do not care what the law says should happen or what they say happened. I am not sending someone to prison for this. And I want to be specific about the detention, though, because that really matters. Because these activists were held for 14 to 18 months before trial. The UK's own legal custody limit is 6 months, and they held them longer than the law allows on a charge the CPS later dropped entirely. And in the United States, there is no limit. The punishment was the process, and the jury said no anyway. So there is no equivalent hard cap on pretrial detention in the United States. I want to be clear about that. People sit in U.S. jails for years awaiting trial, and the UK broke their own limit. Like the UK broke their own limit, and it was a scandal. And here that would just be a Tuesday. So you do not have to agree on the tactics to understand what 2 consecutive juries refusing to convict the same issue actually means. That is the public conscience speaking, louder than any charges. So let me know what y'all think, chat, and I'd love to know what y'all think in the comments, because it sounds to me like the jury's made a decision repeatedly. And jury nullification actually has a long history in the U.S. working class as well. Going back to the Quakers, like there were Quakers that used jury nullification. Abolitionists have used jury nullification successfully. And even Vietnam draft resistors have successfully used jury nullification. There's repeated historic examples. Going back to the last story just for a second. Like my big fear with housing deregulation is that it means they'll build shoddier housing that falls apart quicker. It's fair enough. You know, deregulation doesn't have to mean like not still doing like building code and stuff. It just has to do with like permits and permitting processes. Deregulation can mean a lot of things. Now, the problem is when regulation gets in the way. When regulation prevents things, then it's you need to look at regulation. If it's making the intended outcome harder. So, also, I want to mention this, so feel free to, by the way, nudge, nudge, hint, hint, wink, wink. When the state's using these types of mechanisms and your privacy is important, you should use a VPN. And you can actually get a sweet deal on a VPN if you go to my deals page at jamiedelphine.com/deals. I have a deal with NordVPN. It's a well-known, trusted VPN. Actually, let me go ahead and link the jamiedelphine.com/deals page. I'm going to pin that. Oh, y'all check out all the things. I have so many deals from different companies, and I'm trying to court Corsair. We're gonna get that Corsair sponsorship, chat. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. Look, we're gonna rock the 5000 series frame, and we're gonna rock a 1000 amp power station. By the way, I'm gonna have to upgrade the power station because we're gonna have to upgrade the graphics card as soon as I get the grant. I was told I've done everything. We're just waiting on processing, and as soon as I get it, we're back to AAA titles. I've got some gaming this week though. Don't think I forgot about y'all. Wednesday is gonna be sweet. We actually have the Pride Raid Train. We're a stop for the Pride Raid Train this Wednesday, so be sure to catch all that Wednesday. We're expecting a lot of people. The Pride Raid Train is usually pretty big. So if you're not doing anything Wednesday, plan to be here. It should be a really good time. I'm going to be playing Stardew Valley, which I've never really played. Stardew Valley's something I went ahead and got started in it, and I finished the spring, and I'm in summer, and I caught myself kind of hooked a couple of times, and I'm trying to get it to a point to where it would be fun to play on stream because it's my first ever playthrough, and I haven't seen any. Everything is new to me, so it should be really entertaining. It should be fun to watch. Yeah, it should be a good time. Moving on to the next one, we've got a couple more things, and this one's gonna be kind of bananas. By the way, I am trying to find a way to keep the stream going. And the best way is to subscribe, click the links, go to my link in bio, make sure you're following me on all the platforms, and when I post, please engage with it. One of the platforms I really need support on is Facebook. I don't know if it's like hate raids, but they find each other really easily on Facebook. They use like hashtags, and I just need some positive engagement because I'm trying to dampen the negative stuff, and I'm getting some positive, and the more positive engagement I get, the more positive engagement that will get delivered by the algorithm. So please help me. Go to all the platforms. Please support me when you see posts. Likes, comments, reacts, all that matters. It feels silly, but it feeds the algorithm. We literally do a ceremony at the beginning of each stream to appease the node and appease the algorithm. It's not made up. That stuff matters. Like all the engagement will help people like you that look at content like you find the stream. I'll be like, oh, well, if someone that likes this stuff likes this, maybe someone that likes this stuff will like this too. That's how an algorithm works. So the next one, this one's, oh man. So Alan Greenspan died this morning at 100 years old. He ran the Federal Reserve for 18 years. He helped deregulate the financial system, much like we were just discussing. And in 2008, he told Congress his entire worldview had a flaw, and he was shocked by the discovery. And exactly 1 month ago, the new Fed chair, personally mentored and swore in, said he's going to do exactly what Alan Greenspan did. And he died this morning after like month one. So let me give you the full picture here. Greenspan ran the Fed from 1987 to 2006 under 4 presidents. He was the architect of what economists call the Greenspan put, which is basically the idea the Fed would always step in to protect financial markets, trust the markets, deregulate, let Wall Street figure it out. The rest will trickle down. And here's what the Greenspan era produced: the dot-com bubble, the deregulation of derivatives trading, and the intellectual framework that helped set up the 2008 financial crisis. Not through malice, through genuine ideological conviction that markets will self-correct. And then in 2008, in front of Congress, he was asked, "Did your worldview have a flaw?" And Alan Greenspan, one of the most powerful economic figures in American history, said, and I am quoting directly, "I found a flaw. I was shocked because I had been going for 40 years or more with very considerable evidence that it was working exceptionally well." Sir, you ran the world's largest economy for 18 years, and you found the flaw in year 21. This is like a surgeon saying, "I recently discovered I did not know where the liver was, and I was surprised by this." Because now the new Fed chair, Kevin Warsh, was sworn in exactly 1 month ago at the White House by Clarence Thomas. And in his swearing in speech, he said, and I'm quoting, "Chairman Greenspan was the first to tell me and show me what this role demands. Like Alan, I intend to fill the role of chairman with energy and purpose, just the way Greenspan did." He said that 1 month ago. And today, the man he is modeling his entire Fed identity on died. Meanwhile, right now, initial jobless claims just hit 229,000. Long-term unemployment is at a 2 million people. The financial sector has lost 107,000 jobs since May 2025. And there are market bets that the Fed will raise interest rates by year end, which will be fun to explain to anyone trying to get a mortgage on one of those newly deregulated homes from the story earlier. So, the market, the glorious markets, get a guardian who trusts them implicitly. Workers get trickle down and hope. And that is the playbook. It is being resumed as of this morning. So, let me know what you think, chat. Tell me what you think in the comments. Because the train is going to continue on down the track. And it doesn't matter how many times you flip the switch, the trolley just switches from red to blue. And I'm serious. I found a flaw is the direct quote from a congressional testimony in 2008. You can look that up. And the worst saying he's gonna do about just like Alan, he said it at his swearing in speech. That was May 22nd. LOL. I actually thought about the trolley problem the other day. What made you think about the trolley problem? All this? Now, you're thinking same shit, different day? That's valid. That's valid. It's valid. Your tracks. I gotta say though, the timing of Greenspan's death in 1 month is just genuinely surreal. And I just got to point out, like, rate hike, like, rumors, like, while workers are struggling this bad. I mean, that just shows us, like, the Fed, like, the rates, the interest rate hikes, that's a class instrument. That's being used by the ownership class. That's not a neutral technocracy. That's not going to fix itself, as Greenspan thought for shit 30 years. All I'm saying, I watched the movie Send Help. I haven't seen it, but let me put it on my list. Put it on the list. Um, Not sure if you saw that movie, but I don't want to play spoilers. Yeah, I'll see it. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen a lot of really good movies lately. I really recommend the what was it called, the it was something about the magical tree in the secret wood or something. It was like a kids movie, but I wanted a happy feel good movie with everything going on, and I watched that and it was really good, really good, really heartwarming, very anti device, very turn the screen off, which I really appreciated. Let's see. But at one point, someone is giving a trolley problem, and not only didn't they switch tracks, but they pressed the gas down. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I'll see it eventually. Definitely put it on my to-do list. Um, yeah. By the way, I want to call back. Like I was saying, if we deregulate like construction and we just trust the markets to fix housing, that's that's the same logic in a different font. It's the same logic, different decade, basically. Just deregulating and letting let the market fix it. What? Trickle down all over again. Yes, yes. True BDC. There it is. Trust the markets to exploit you as much as possible, and you'll never be disappointed. Because that's what they do. All right. All right. All right. This one's fun. And I'm sure y'all have heard about this one. So, by the way, and I just got to say it again. The timing of Greenspan's death and 1 month of Warsh's tenure is genuinely surreal. Just, you couldn't script that. All right. Rolling in this one. I think it's the last one. I need to give you one more before we get to something serious. Okay. So there's two more. So the Trump. Okay, wait. Before I do this, I need you to hold a number in your head while I tell you this story. Hold this number in your head. This is a fun one, and then we're going to do a serious one. The Trump administration spent $14 million renovating the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. They painted it. They chose a color they called US blue, and they refilled it on June 4th. It turned green. Algae. Immediately. The most algae recorded in the month of June in at least 5 years. And the paint also started peeling off the bottom and floating to the surface. Like, visitors describe the water as looking, and I'm quoting real human beings who went to see this, like vomit. So Trump said it was vandals, of course. The park police actually arrested like 5 people. One of them, a former Olympian who was held. You'll have to look that story up. I wasn't planning to talk about it. Scientists say the algae is completely harmless. But $14 million. 3 weeks. Green. Hold that number. We're going to need it in a minute. So I'm going to jump right into this next one because the Lineage Incorporated cold storage warehouse at 1400 Los Palos Street in Boyle Heights has been on fire since last Wednesday, June 17th. Today is Monday, June 22nd. And that's 6 days. It's still burning. And here's what you need to know. The fire compromised an ammonia line inside the facility. A shelter-in-place order went out to residents. It was eventually lifted, but the smoke did not stop. Officials measured very unhealthy air quality levels in Boyle Heights over the weekend. The fire is so deep inside the warehouse that firefighters still cannot enter the building. There are 85 million pounds of frozen food in there. And it is not going out fast. And this morning, today, June 22nd, day 6, Los Angeles Unified School District relocated children out of their schools in Boyle Heights because the air was too dangerous to breathe. Not last Wednesday when the fire started. Today, 6 days in, kids are still being moved. And as of this morning, today, kids are having to navigate getting, to and from schools that they're not normally going to. So now Lineage Incorporated is the second largest Lineage Incorporated is the largest temperature controlled warehouse operator. They actually have facilities in 20 countries. So their response to 6 days of their building blanketing a residential neighborhood in toxic smoke, they donated $2 million. They donated a nonprofit to distribute to impacted residents. The federal government, what was that number? Do you remember that number, chat? The federal government spent $14 million painting a pool in Washington, D.C. the wrong color. And the world's largest cold storage company spent only $2 million on a neighborhood they have put in crisis for 6 days and counting. And I'll let you do the math. And I want to say this clearly. Boyle Heights is already one of the most overburdened environmental justice communities in California. It already sits next to freeways, next to industrial corridors, next to facilities that other neighborhoods with more money and more political power pushed out of their backyards and into theirs. And this didn't happen in Brentwood. This didn't happen in the Pacific Palisades. It happened in Boyle Heights. And 6 days later, the children are still being relocated because the air is not safe. And that's not coincidence. That's a pattern. And it has a name. Now, Mayor Bass declared a local emergency. Governor Newsom declared a state of emergency for LA County. And a smoke relief center is open 24 hours at City Terrace Park. And the link to that is in the Discord. Please check the news links section. Everything will be listed there from every story I've talked about today. I'd love to know what you think in chat, and please drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I've got plenty. My favorite thing about civil service is how the fraud and waste is completely different from private sectors. They're wasting $14 million on a pool coating, and when I was with the state, we all had to chip in to replace the fridge in the break room. There it is. Yeah. They're so strict about what money goes to. Like, when they're giving money to states, you have to prove and document everything. So, I can't emphasize enough, like, Boyle Heights is a documented environmental justice community. They have the highest pollution burden, like according to Cal EnviroScreen, which is who tracks that sort of thing. Dropped my, oh no, I didn't drop it. That's right. So also, the LAUSD relocations are happening like today. Like, they were happening earlier today. It's not like it happened yesterday, and it's still happening today. They're out of school now, but there's probably kids still getting home, navigating from schools they don't normally go to, if I had to guess. And they should already be home. So Mayor Bass and Newsom both declared emergencies, but it's like this whole community, and they only opened like one smoke relief center. Chat. This federal government spent $14 million painting a pool the wrong color. And the world's largest cold storage company spent $2 million on a neighborhood they put in crisis for 6 days. Make it make sense. Brentwood would not have had to put up with this ever. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wrap up the news with people, news for people who have a job section here. So let's do this. All right, here is everything we covered tonight, one sentence each. Congress is sending Trump the biggest housing bill in 30 years, and it does not touch the investor side of the problem. So your landlord is quietly celebrating. 2 juries in England have now refused to convict Palestine Action activists targeting arms factories. That is jury nullification, and it is the public conscience speaking louder than the charge sheet. Alan Greenspan died today at 100. The new Fed chair he personally mentored promised to follow his exact playbook 1 month ago, and that playbook produced the dot-com bubble, the derivative crisis, and 2008. Okay, so great. Love that for us. The Trump administration spent $14 million on a pool that turned green in 3 weeks and arrested people for it. And the Lineage warehouse in Boyle Heights has been on fire for 6 days. LAUSD is still relocating kids today because the air is not safe, and the company donated $2 million, which is their way of saying sorry without saying sorry. That is the week. You're caught up. You have a job to get to, so you're welcome. All right, nuts. So one more thing before we move on. What was the story that hit hardest tonight for y'all in chat? For everyone listening, did I get anything wrong? Did anybody have a take that they saw differently? Is there anything you want me to cover next week? What is happening in your city right now? And just a reminder, if you're not following, please drop a follow. If you haven't subscribed, subscribing would be a great way to support the stream if you like this kind of content and the other fun stuff that I do. And yeah, if you can check out the deals link, everyone can always go to jamiedelphine.com/deals. I've got a lot of really cool relationships set up with a lot of really cool brands from my career streaming, and you can check them out and benefit from the discounts. Hello, Jules. Ooh, 15 stream streak. Yes, thank you. I appreciate you. I love the support. Love the love. I think what hits the hardest will always be anything around children. Yeah, man. Like they're literally poisoning kids. Like just they're poor, and that's why they get poisoned instead of the rich kids. It sucks. Our system sucks. They don't put giant storage facilities in Beverly Hills. It's a lot of food, by the way. Did y'all catch? It's it's so much food. 85 million pounds. 85 million pounds of food. The pool hits me the hardest. I'm still mad about that $35 I paid in 2008 to replace the bridge. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it should because if we have money to do all these frivolous things, he's claimed he's going to save money and make run the government like a business. And then he does stuff like that. And it's just like we tried to warn people. It's just crazy. I mean, so, and I didn't want to mention anything about this in the parts that I was planning to clip, but there's been similar fires like this one in like Alaska, and it took like a month for the fire to go out. And I'm hoping that's not the same thing that happens here. Because out there, it was kind of like, yeah, there's nothing out there. Maybe they just let it go. I'm hoping maybe there's like measures they're going to take here that they wouldn't have taken there, even though they should have taken them there too. Perhaps there's just more a potential for more being fined more or something like that here. So I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. I've also been having a lot of really good feedback. If y'all haven't yet checked out any of the debate Fridays that I do over on the Clock app, we've had a really good crowd building, hanging out over on the Clock app, just debating with randoms, usually Trump voters. This last one, I ended up debating like a sort of a liberal. He's like one of those I'm liberally whatever fiscally conservative kind of centrist types that just oppose the idea of reparations. And I pretty much won that debate by the end. It took like 3 hours though. But if this is the kind of stuff you like, I do plenty of it. There's a lot of clips going up now. And you can check out the podcasts, which is the recordings of the Clock app streams. Although I'm not sure, I don't know. I'm going to look at traffic. I don't know if podcast is the right format for that. I might have to revisit my podcast project. I don't know if my podcast project is going to continue. But if you like news for people that have a job and want to recap and just want to see the stories written, make sure to follow me on Substack. You can find that link in my bio because now every Tuesday News for People That Have a Job is going to go out as a Substack. I do the stream live here. A lot of it's like kind of, I'm writing this. I have ADHD, y'all, so I'm writing this like up to the second that I go live, revising the script and trying to make the jokes sharp so that I can clip them. Because I want to say them to somebody. I don't just want to record them into a camera. So I do like this clip format. It's been working for me. And y'all seem to be having fun. These are current topics. Y'all get to be informed. I'm not going to sit and record these by myself. So I'm happy to do them Mondays on stream. And then we can kind of talk about them. And then I get to clip y'all's input and feedback. Sometimes that becomes the clip. Sometimes my story is not as interesting as what you make me say about it. That happens all the time. I think we've got a good thing going on here, chat. And like people are really liking the clips. Like the clips that are hitting Instagram, the Clock app, and YouTube Shorts. And of course here, I have tons of clips on Twitch. So one of the ways y'all can help support me is go to my clips, go to my page, go to my channel on Twitch, and go to the clips and go in and like the clips and engage with the clips. Share the funny clips with your friends. Find the good stuff. Find the informative stuff. Find the emotional stuff. I'm really trying to make all kinds of content because I have ADHD and I don't want to make one type of content. I'm a creator. And I'm just a creator who makes variety content. I make all kinds of content. And I'm going to keep making all kinds of content. And now I owe y'all a cosplay photo shoot. So I owe y'all a cosplay. I will do a photo shoot and I'll try to stream it because that's going to be fun. Maybe I download like Batman Arkham Asylum and play that in Poison Ivy cosplay. What do you think about that? That might be a good thing to do. So, yeah, one of the things I wanted to talk about, that sounds amazing. Little cosplay gameplay action. Shoot, I gotta figure out the graphics card for that to happen. Graphics card is expensive. I need that grant to come through. I need subs. And I need y'all to all tell all your family members about all the discounts that I have and that they can use my code at checkout. Anybody that needs glasses, be sure to be checking out the glasses. Everybody knows Zenni is one of my favorite sponsors. Their frames start at $6.99. And that's legitimately good value glasses. That's all I wear is Zenni glasses. I've been a fan of Zenni glasses since before I even streamed. So I legitimately like their glasses. I'm really proud to have them as a partner. And you should check out Zenni for all your eyewear needs, even sunglasses. They have all kinds of features. They have like the lenses that stop your irises from getting scanned, so people can't steal your identity. And they now have like eco-conscious materials. I actually need to reach out. I need to get a pair of the eco-conscious stuff. I've been meaning to check that out. All right, cool. We're gonna take a quick break. Just like 5 minutes, a little bit of a bio break, give everybody a chance to stretch their legs, grab a drink, whatever it is we're doing to take care of ourselves. Check in with yourself. Maybe you need to go outside and touch some grass. It never hurts. But I'm going to take a quick fiver. Don't go anywhere, because when I get back, I want to talk about the DPRK. We could talk about anything we talked about, the news stories, and we could talk about anything that y'all want to do. But one of the things I want to talk about when I get back is I want to talk about the DPRK. because I was in another content creators live today and I got some feedback that I didn't quite agree with, and I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it with y'all. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. And yeah, take care of yourself. All right, besties, I'm back. Um, we've got. Oh man, I've got. I've got a take that I wanted to share with y'all. So I was in another content creator stream today. Early this morning. I'm not gonna say who. Doesn't matter. And well, let me back up. First off, I had a topic that came up in a debate this past Friday. I was recording the debate Fridays. Somebody brought up a critique of the DPRK, and it was one that I wanted to push back on. And they had made a claim. They said functionally, the DPRK operates like a monarchy. And while initially I pushed back and, you know, functionally speaking, they do have people's committees and there are elections, there's lots of democracy, there is still the unelected positions of their supreme ruler that is passed down, you know, in a lineage. So people try to say, like, and that was sort of like what I was, that's where I was kind of blindsided because they were trying to say that, you know, workers' committees and local people's committees, like, that is evidence of democratic governance. And they were trying to say, like, the Kim family, they're just like respected war heroes. They're not rulers at all. They have nothing to do with governance. But like, I don't know. I'm having trouble digesting this one. So I want to, as a Marxist, as an actual socialist, critique this. And I was going to kind of go through it. And I wanted to hear feedback from y'all, my grounded community. Um, because I have my take and I wanted to hear y'all's take. And um, before I get into it, I just want to sort of summarize it. I support North Korea critically. Critically. Um, I understand they feel like they're at war with the world because they want to have the planned economy. And they're under crazy amounts of sanctions and other things. Um, so, um, that being said, Kim Jong Un's actual titles um, are General Secretary of the Korean Workers' Party, which is, you know, part of the political leader of the political party, and chairman of the State of Affairs Commission, and Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. So the immediate claim that I got back in defense that they don't run the government, it's just actually like false. So if the People's Assembly elections have a single slate, like the candidates are pre-approved by the Korean Workers' Party, turnout is reported at 99.97%. It doesn't that doesn't sound like democracy. It just sounds kind of put on. And the Jangma-dang markets that are like local markets, like some of them have different currencies. People are trying to point to that as like a local democracy. And I was told that it emerged because there was like a famine and people had to build like an informal market to respond to that. So these are serious concerns, and there are, you know, allegedly tons of people in prison um, just for like, you know, political reasons. Um, so I'm trying to peel back the end. I want to pick this apart logically, but it's kind of in my opinion, and I'm trying to find a way to say this without sounding too too pointed, but it's like they have subordinate worker power to hereditary state control. So I don't know. I don't feel like we have to defend like every government that the US opposes to be anti-imperialist. Um and honestly like that's not an analysis. That's just that's a mirror because you know, defending the government is one thing, but defending the ideals, the intentions is another cuz like I feel like what they've led to is not the same as the ideas and the intentions they start with, or not led to. I'm sorry, that what they resulted in, what they're doing in practice. It doesn't line up with the goal of like building a planned economy and opposing the world. Like they consider themselves at war with the world, and emergency powers are necessary. It's usually like every country will use that line, but um, it's just like kind of not functioning as you would think communist state would. I can't find a single instance where like a workers led committee has overturned a decision by anyone in the Kim family. It just seems kind of anarchistic to me, but I'd love to hear your takes. I'd love to hear your thoughts. This is I'm still doing research. I'm trying to find a reason why they wouldn't. But unfortunately, most of my analysis just leads me back to the same result. It's monarchical. Trying to make sure I use the correct one. I mean, it's a dynastic authoritarian state, which you know, not a good thing. as as a actual like socialist with their feet on the ground, I'm gonna admit, you know, there it doesn't look good. That's the critique against. So yeah, that's what I wanted to chat about. What are y'all's thoughts? Does anybody have thoughts on this? Am I the only one with thoughts on this? How do you feel about the DPRK? Now, being open, like they, so let me give a little background on this. Because Korea was one country that was colonized by Japan. And they were colonized from 1910 to 1945. Japanese occupation was like brutal. By the way, if y'all didn't know, the Japanese at one point were like fascists with an F, big capital one. Forced labor, cultural suppression, people conscripted to fight. In Japanese wars, Korea did not lose World War II. Japan did. Korea got liberated. Arguable on what that means. However, then the US and the Soviet Union divided it at the 38th parallel. That was in 1945 without asking any Koreans. The US took the South, the Soviets took the North, two occupation zones, two installed governments. Neither Korean population voted for that. And Kim Il sung was genuinely a resistance fighter against Japanese occupation. That is real. The legitimacy of the early DPRK was built on anti-colonial liberation struggle, not just Soviet backed. And the North was actually more industrialized than the South in 1945, because the Japanese had built factories then. And then the Korean War from 1950 to 1953 killed an estimated 3 million Koreans. So that was a majority of civilians. But the US dropped more bombs on North Korea than the entire Pacific theater in World War II. And they destroyed 78 cities. There's almost no building in the DPRK that predates the war. And you know, that kind of destruction shapes a country's psychology for decades, for generations. So, a nation that was colonized, then arbitrarily divided by foreign powers, then bombed into rubble by one of those powers, developed sort of a siege mentality and a centralized authoritarian state. So, honestly, that's not surprising. That's honestly a very predictable outcome. And understanding it, understanding why it happened, that's not the same as defending what it's become. And I think it's important to be honest and be realistic. You know, I respect and admire North Korea for the struggle. But, you know, you can acknowledge that while being honest that they appear to be causing some level of harm. So, that's sort of it. That's my take. That's my take on North Korea. Let me know what you think in chat. I'd love to hear your feedback. I mean, I don't, I mean, I've never been there. I don't know enough to have more of a take than that. But I mean, allegedly the country has tons of political prisoners. I guess there's like public executions have been documented. At a caste system, I think. I don't know. And you know, they've had their share of famines. I know capitalism has tons of famines. Not a strong argument. The biggest thing for me is that they can't leave. That's kind of, you know, if you want to defect, you should be allowed to just leave. But I mean, that's like, I hear like if you leave, like they kill your family or something. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, um, the United States kind of caused it from what I just described. It's unfortunate. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about it to really talk more about it. That's pretty much my take. He's like you could kind of you could calculate that outcome given everything. So the material conditions that produce the DPRK are understandable. So what are we doing? Are we gonna catch the Wednesday stream? There's gonna be, I don't know, probably like 100. All right, BDC. I'll catch you later. Hopefully, I'll see you Wednesday for the Pride Guild retrain. Beware of the Cartographer. I haven't seen that one. I'll have to check it out. I've yet to see Beware of the Cartographer. I do have a whole crap load of review uh, games that I have. I might be able to play some of them. Some of them I might be able to get away with on Steam. I have some new downloads that we could probably check out tomorrow if folks want to check out tomorrow's stream for gaming for a review. I I don't know. All Hail the Orb was pretty cool. Something like that might possibly run. I've had tons of success with Stardew Valley. If we can't find a game that runs tomorrow, maybe we just play some more Stardew Valley. I don't know. Whatever it ends up being. I'm sure we'll have a good time. And then whenever we get the game computer back, then we'll resume regular like AAA titles. Ooh, I can't wait to be able to get on Marvel Rivals and just glide. Ooh, I can't wait to get a nice graphics card. I should have got that one to begin with. They're so much more expensive than when I built my machine. Chat, I wish I had started with the 4080. I could have. I could have got it then when I built the machine. Probably like 3 times as much now. I'm not gonna lie, it's crazy. I want to say it was like $700, and now it's like 2 grand. Sucks. Um, yeah. I mean, if y'all don't want to chat, maybe I'll just wrap it up here and we'll raid out. I don't want to drag this thing out. I ran my mouth plenty. The stream's supposed to be about y'all, so it's whatever y'all think, y'all's feedback, um, what y'all think about the stories. I'm hoping to get some of the things that are happening where you're at. Yeah, maybe we'll just raid out here. We got our stories in. Shoot, maybe we make Monday streams an hour. I'm getting closer and closer to just shooting this thing and uploading it as clips. Um, and switching up the stream schedule. I'm I'm gonna be honest. The clock app streams are a little more successful, and I'm gonna keep experimenting, but I'm gonna start playing with um different things, and whatever works is what I gotta do because mama's gotta pay her bills. So um yeah, we are gonna go ahead and raid out. Thank you so much for being here. Monday's news for people with a job. Thank you, everybody. I will see you tomorrow for gaming review stream, or maybe just some more Stardew Valley as we get ready for the raid train with Stardew Valley on Wednesday. Um, Thank you so much. I'm gonna raid out and see y'all on the next one. Don't let the bastards grind you down. See ya.